So, a new word for 2018. I don't know who's gonna hop on this call, but you guys, I may have a little bit of a new obsession. Just a tiny one. Just tiny. Okay, so over the holiday break, it was beyond cold here in Northwest Iowa. Like, beyond cold. And hi Krista, was it like beyond cold for you too? Like frigid, like negative 20. It should never be negative 20 ever, right? And on top of that, it was Christmas break, you guys. So that means two boys who love to be loud and wiggle and be fierce, housebound with their mom for like a week straight. So if you are guessing that I was going a little out of my ever-loving mind, you would be correct. Any other moms feel the same way? Maybe. So when I had some friends say, hey Rachel, let's go to a movie, I was like, heck yes. Get this mom out of the house. So we went to a movie, and honestly, you guys, the movie was one I was not even super jazzed about seeing. There's a little backstory, so I'm going to tell you the little story before the story. So we went and we saw, don't know if you've heard of it, it's just a tiny little film called The Greatest Showman. Tiny. Anybody ever heard of it? Go ahead, tell me. Well, I was not super thrilled. I was more thrilled just about getting out of the house with my sanity intact. Because here's the thing. When I was a tiny little girl, I lived in this town that neighbored a little bit of a bigger town that's known for having, I think, the biggest county fair in the state of Iowa. And so as a little girl, around fair time, we would be, as a child, we would be so very excited because one, we would get out of school, right? And two, the Midway, Carnival Midway, all of the rides, right? So exciting. But as a little girl, I had this explosive imagination, go figure, and I was still very inclined to auditory information. Like I hear things and it sticks, like not only here but here. And so I remember I would go with my parents to the Midway and I would see the rides, but I would hear with my ears the carnival barkers saying, see the woman surrounded with snakes, and see the largest woman to walk the earth. And I would hear these things, and of course I wouldn't go in to see the booths to see what was actually happening. And I would go home at night and I would hear these echoing sounds of these carnival barkers. And I was petrified. I was terrified. I thought, oh my gosh, the woman surrounded by snakes is going to climb into my bedroom and kidnap me. Hi, Trish. Hi, guys. So terrified. So the thought of going to a movie about the circus where there was like a bearded lady and dog boy and, I was like, oh, not really my thing. But get me out of the house. So fast forward, we went, I saw The Greatest Showman, and you guys, so good. So good. So good, in fact, that a few days later, I'm sitting in my bedroom. I can't binge watch it because it's not on video at this time. I'm sure pirated somewhere, but not for me. But on YouTube, I am playing the soundtrack like over and over and over, and Jamie is like sitting next to me like rolling his eyeballs. And yes, so then later that day on January 1, we went as a family and it was just as good the second time. It was so good. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. But a couple of thoughts on the movie. Here's what I think, because I'm continuing to listen to the soundtrack and relive it all vicariously. Oh, so good. But what I'm thinking is the reason I am drawn to this movie, there's a garbage truck going by my office. The reason why I am so drawn to this movie is because it connects with me about people dreaming and moving towards making those dreams a reality, coming out of a place of mediocrity and joining in a place that is glorious. That we all are called to live beyond a life of mediocrity. And I'm not talking about wealth, and I'm not talking about privilege. I'm talking about that God has called each of us to live much bigger, much more alive than what many of us do. And I think that hits home with me so much because for so many years, and I didn't know, you guys, it's like this thing, you don't know what you don't know. I thought, you know, the way that I'm living, kind of feeling a little bit like a zombie, is pretty normal. This is what life must be supposed to be. And it wasn't until I started, one, living into doing scary things on a regular basis. I'm a big believer in that. Do something scary every single day that takes you outside of your comfort zone because it changes you. Two, of course, looking at how you live in your life, like with your food choices, with activity, with, of course, you guys know I'm a fan of supplements. There's a lot to be a fan of. And living life in community with people, it changes you. And in fact, the life that you live starts to become vibrant and alive. You know, it's just so different. I mean, I was reading in this book the other day, I think I mentioned this before, Rebecca Lyons was talking about how many people live in, they cling to cell bars as if they're living in a cell, and they're clinging and holding on to these bars when they don't even realize that the door is open. There's no lock on the door and it's wide open, and yet we cling to the bars. And I feel like that's what a lot of us do. That we have given up on dreams. We have given up on those things that we knew within us when we were children, and we just live into these nice settled boxes of mediocrity, safety, security, stability, boredom. And we just live there, and we believe that we're supposed to live there until we retire and eventually until we die. And that's sad. That is sad. So, my word for this year, I've been pondering it, and I thought I had it. But here's the thing. Sometimes I think God speaks directly to us. Like sometimes it's not even like hidden or in a whisper. It's like he's speaking directly. He's just like, wake up and hear it. So around Christmas, my family and I, we saw For King and Country in concert. And this one song kept coming to mind all the time. Glorious, 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 glorious. I don't even know if that's what the song is called, but the song, the lyric kept coming, glorious. I won't sing it to you because you'll all be frightened. For some reason, that word just stuck to me. And of course now, with the Greatest Showman soundtrack, I hear the song with glorious, glorious. And it is like, this is the year that God is saying, it's going to be a glorious year. It's going to be a glorious, like I can hear it almost audibly, like a promise that he's just raining it down. It's going to be a glorious year. And I know, like our world, there's all sorts of worries and anxieties, and there's horrible things that are happening on a regular basis. And I have no idea. I know that in this year, there most likely will be times of struggle and trouble, but I hear God speaking a word, glorious. He is glorious. He has created us to be his image bearers in this world. And that's not boring. That's not boring, you guys. glorious, I feel like, I know he's speaking it over me. What is he speaking over you? Do I have any other people on here with me where God is speaking a word to you? I would love to know what it is. If it's similar to mine, maybe it's way different. But we can pray over each other's words, because I think glorious sounds glorious. I think it sounds big, bold, and audacious. And that's the kind of God that I have. A big, bold, audacious God who longs to bless us in big, bold, and audacious ways, so that we can serve his kingdom. So that's my thought for today. Mwah! Thank you for tuning in. Now, also, quick plug, right? Where my group is doing this compassionate and healthful living, 7 days. You don't have to buy anything. Oh, no purchase of anything required. What in the world is it going to be about? It's going to be about honoring our bodies beginning 2017. It is not going to be punishment. It is not going to be brutal, stick to a diet. It is going to be learning and encouraging about how do we listen and lean into how our bodies talk to us. How do we honor it with recipes? How do we honor it with stress reduction, looking at some sleep habits, learning about how our body speaks through many of the things that we have come to ignore. Like, how many of us have said, oh, this must just be what getting older feels like. No, it's not. We were not made to feel crappy right away in the morning. That's not how our body was designed. Maybe we've said to ourselves, you know, I'm constantly exhausted, but that's just what being a mom probably is supposed to. No, it's not. We're not supposed to live in constant exhaustion or crabbiness or seeking sugar even when we just ate food and continuously being hungry. That's not how this body was created. Maybe we've bought into the idea of calories in if I just eat less and I just, you know, exercise more. How many of us have said that and then no, nothing, right? Or short-lived, and we feel shortchanged. So this group, if that has ever been you, if that is you, if you're sick of getting on this hamster wheel that you know is not productive and not effective, right? Like, oh, Trish, I cannot wait for this group. I cannot wait. Anyway, if you have not asked to be added to the group, comment below and I will make sure that you are added. It starts officially January 8th. There's daily giveaways. Shut the front door. And no, not all of them are supplement related. There's gift cards for you to actually get good food for yourself, do some good caregiving for yourself. So you want to be a part of the group. You just do. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, I need to go home and take out puppies so that they don't, have a pit-diddle. So much love. Talk to you soon. Mwah. Woo! Glorious 2018. Glorious.